Well, folks, the U.S. courts are once again asking the government why it won't release details of its wireless service kill switch. The Electronic Privacy Information Center, also known as EPIC, has been trying to wrangle documents concerning the kill switch, officially known as Standard Operating Procedure 303. From the tight grip of the Department of Homeland Security. It filed a Freedom of Information Act in July 2012. Now, what's going on is the Department of Homeland Security created SOP 303 following the July 2005 suicide bombings that targeted public transport riders in central London during rush hour, okay? Those bombs were detonated with mobile phones. Now, a federal appeals court has asked the U.S. government why it should be allowed to keep secret its plan to silence phone service during, quote, critical emergencies, unquote. As EPIC describes it, SOP 303 is an emergency wireless protocol that codifies a unified voluntary process for the orderly shutdown and restoration of wireless services during critical emergencies such as the threat of radio-activated improvised explosive devices. It was approved in March 2006. But the details have never been revealed to the public. Well, details or no, the country has already seen a kill switch in action. On July 3rd, 2011, a Bay Area Rapid Transit Officer, or otherwise known as BART, in San Francisco shot and killed a homeless man, Charles Hill, after Hill allegedly attacked him with a knife. Well, if you'll remember, the citizens protested. The first protest, a week after the killing, disrupted service at several BART stations, though no one was hurt. The second protest was aborted after BART flipped the kill switch, thus putting a Wi-Fi cone of silence around anybody on its platforms, a move that stifled protests, just as civil libertarians have suggested could be one outcome. BART's action wasn't a demonstration of SOP 303. BART took the move on its own, with no help from wireless service providers. As Ars Technica reports, telecoms have agreed to shutter service when SOP 303 is invoked. Yet local governments don't have to bother with SOP 303, given that they have the power to kill wireless service with or without it. And the DHS has been arguing for years that the protocol is exempt from public disclosure because it discloses, quote, techniques and procedures for law enforcement investigations or prosecutions, or could reasonably be expected to endanger the life or physical safety of any individual, unquote. In the case of disclosing SOP 303, the government argued that any individual means anybody anywhere near an unexploded bomb. That argument has been rejected as being overly broad, you think? Given that it could apply to anybody on the planet. Well, in February, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit sided with the government and ruled that the policy didn't have to be disclosed under an FOIA request from EPIC. Now, EPIC persisted, arguing that the decision, if left in place, would create an untethered national security exemption in FOIA law. And on Friday, the court ordered the government to respond, a move that could point to the appellate court rehearing the case. The idea of a kill switch is pretty unnerving on many levels. After all, where does a government draw the line with defensive measures? Would the U.S. government shut down only the government systems affected by an attack, be they systems running the traffic lights or electrical and or other power grids, for example? Or would it shut down the whole internet? And as Sophos Chester Wezinewski has pointed out in a podcast called Chet Chat number 49, if we're under attack over the internet and that attack is disrupting essential systems, turning off the whole darn thing wouldn't disrupt the problem. It would just keep us all from accessing those same essential systems. Also, writing for Slate, David Jacobs, Epic's Consumer Protection Council, sums up the harm that could be brought about by the kill switch. Even well-meaning communications shutdowns can have serious unintended consequences for public safety. In crises, the networks used to send messages the government wants to stop are the same networks used to call 911, to text family members, or receive emergency alerts. And not surprisingly, most public interest groups object to policies like SOP 303 that give the government unchecked power to cut off our communications. How do we know that DHS is following the First Amendment or considering these important interests adequately? Right, we don't. Getting DHS to reveal details would be an important development for government accountability and free speech. And the courts present us with the best chance yet of understanding this secret protocol. Break this news.